All right, guys, check it out. I'm going to try something new. This comes from my friend Larry from Back to the Future Radios. That's a Larry in the hills of East Tennessee. We're gonna try an idea that he told me about that he had. I've been thinking about doing this for some time, but I haven't really put the research to it like Larry did. And Larry went and checked it out. I want to make a replacement for deoxit. Now Larry's tried it, he likes it, and he's told me what he puts in it, and now I'm going to tell you. I am going to add something to it, and Larry, maybe this makes sense to you. You let me know. First off, deoxit, when Larry studied the safety data sheet for it, learned that it was mostly mineral spirits, low odor or odorless mineral spirits. Well, I have plenty of that around. I use it all the time. So I thought it'd be easy to give it a shot. And it has a solvent in there. Well, what's the solvent, that I like to use all the time? We all know that lacquer thinner is my favorite solvent and my favorite cleaner. So I'm going to mix some mineral spirits with a little bit of lacquer thinner. The thing I'm going to add that Larry didn't mention to me is I've had this bottle of concentrated deoxit around for a long time. This is 100% deoxit. Because deoxit does have a proprietary ingredient that I have no idea what it is, but it does have a proprietary ingredient. Well, I'm figuring I'll go ahead and use some real deoxit in there in the concentrated form, just a little bit. I don't need much. Just mix a little bit in there, mix it with the other stuff I'm making, and that'll be even closer to the real thing. Now, you can buy these. These are expensive, but I'm not going to use much. So whereas I would be, I got frustrated trying to use this to actually clean components with, using it in this form may be okay. So what Larry does is he mixed about 5 ounces of mineral spirits with about a 1/4 ounce of lacquer thinner. So that's not very much lacquer thinner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do, so that is really 20 to 1. Let's see, I have a paint mixing cup that I use for paint when I used to paint cars. This is an 8 to 1 right here, okay? So if I do 2 of mineral spirits, go up to the 2 mark, and then I just go up to halfway between the 2 and the 3 mark. That's going to be the same thing as doing the 16 to 1. So again, I'll fill this up to the 2 mark with mineral spirits, and then I'll go ahead and in the second line here, because I want 16 to 1, not 8 to 1, so I want to have this second one, and that'll effectively give me 16 to 1. I'll go from the 2 to halfway between the 2 and the 3 with lacquer thinner. I may add a little more than that, I'm not sure. And then at the very end, I'm going to add some drops of the deoxit concentrate. So let's go ahead with this, okay? Now you do want to do this either outside or have some windows open and have a veritable wind blowing through your place, because you're messing with a couple of things that are combustible and flammable. So, you see this warning here on mineral spirits. Now, we all think of mineral spirits as pretty benign, but it is combustible. So you want to be real careful with that. Let's go ahead and pour this in until we can get to this mark right here. It's a little messy. I don't know why they can't come up with a can that doesn't dribble when you first open it and use it. Can't be that hard. All right. Yep, that's at the 2 mark. Yep, doesn't have hardly any odor at all. Now, let us go ahead and put some lacquer thinner in there. Now, like I said, I'm probably going to use a little more than Larry, but I like lacquer thinner. So let's do it. I'm going to go halfway between the 2 and the 3. And this will thin this out a little bit. There we go, just a touch more. How's that? Not quite at the 3. So I used a little more than Larry did. In fact, I probably put too much in there. So what I'm going to do, since I can't take any back out, I'm just going to put a touch more mineral spirits. This is homebrew chemistry, man. We don't have to be that perfectly scientific about it. All right, if it works, I'll know it. Now, I'm going to add some of this. I'll take the cap off of here. I've had this stuff around for about 4 years, and I still haven't used the whole bottle. I can't stand using it. It takes forever to dry, and this stuff is conductive when it's still wet. And it's flammable when it's wet. Now you know why. Now remember, deoxit, I think it's deoxit 5, is only 5% deoxit. I won't be doing that once I run out of this because I'm not going to pay to buy that either. That stuff's expensive. I'm just going to try it with this. All right, let's mix it up with the funnel. It seems as good a mixing device as any. All right, now here is the cool thing about it. Now you're thinking, how are you going to dispense this stuff? Well, Larry solved that problem for me. He suggested to me that I buy a non-aerosol but pressurized sprayer. Sometimes they call it aerosol, but I think aerosol has to do with the propellant. I may be wrong about that. I don't know. But anyway, Larry suggested to me that I buy a sprayer that I pressurize with compressed air. And he bought one. It's a little different than the one I bought. I bought this one right here. It's called a Sure Shot. Now these things have a good reputation. They're good, really good sprayers. One of the reasons I bought this thing is this right here. It says made in the USA. That means something to me, and if I can buy a product that's made in the USA, I do. So these have the reputation of being really good quality. So I'm gonna find out for myself right now. So you remove the top, or you remove the bottom, whichever way you want to look at it. It's got kind of a coarse thread on it. You want to pull this out carefully because you don't want to damage this tube right here, okay? You pressurize it, and the compressed air stays at the top of the bottle, okay? And the liquid stays down here, and the compressed air pushes down. As, you know, anything pressurized, it pushes this pressure, you know, pressure is equal in all directions, so it's pushing down, and as soon as you open the valve, you give the liquid at the bottom an escape path, and the air will push down on it and force the liquid out. That's how it works. Now you pressurize this thing using this, it's like a tire valve stem, okay, or a tire valve. Schrader valve is what they call it. So you pressurize it using this Schrader valve. I'm going to go ahead and put the cap back on. I don't want it to get dirty. I'm going to set this aside. I want to keep this nice, so I don't want to be spilling anything on it. By the way, when I put this in, I want to try real hard to make sure I don't get any of this this concoction I'm making on the O-ring seal, because it'll shorten the life of it. If I can keep that as dry as possible, it'll last longer. Okay, let me grab my funnel here. Now, I mixed up quite a bit of it. I hope I didn't mix up too much. Let me pour this in. I mixed it in this cup partly for the measurement graduations on the side. I could have done that with a graduated cylinder though, or a cooking mixing cup. But I wanted to be able to squeeze it so I could narrow the stream as I'm pouring it out. All right, so there we go. Yeah. So it didn't get deep. Now with this in here, all right, it didn't get deep enough to touch this. So, you know, it's not nearly full. It's somewhere down in here, okay? I'll set this aside. I don't want it dripping all over everything. All right, so now I want to make sure these threads are at least somewhat dry. I want to not get that O-ring all nasty. Okay, so now I'm going to put this on here, and very careful not to cross thread it because this is aluminum. I don't have to go crazy with tightening it. The O-ring does the sealing, not the threads. There, I hear it squeaking, I know it's sealed. Put this aside. Should I just leave that there? Now, wait a minute. It's not coming out. What gives? Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, I got to pressurize it. Okay. Now, I keep my air compressor at about 120 psi. This thing here has a maximum pressure. It says on here somewhere. Maximum pressure of 200 psi. So I know that I can put my air compressor, I can connect my compressed air up to this guy and hold it on there until I stop here and flow. When I stop here and flow, this is going to be roughly, you know, my compressor kicks on at 90 psi and shuts down at 125. So it's going to be between those two numbers, and neither one of those will be fine. So I'll go ahead and connect this up to my compressed air. Now I have my compressors in another room, and I just plumbed them through a wall into this room. That way when I'm working on something that needs a lot of compressed air, I don't have to listen to those silly things running all the time. I have two 60-gallon compressors and they can make some noise. All right, let's do this. Let's put this on the Schrader valve, see what happens. All right, I am roughly between 90 and 125 psi in that can now. Remove that because these always leak a little bit. My compressor will be kicking on all the time to catch up. All right, I'll set that down for now. I got a carpeted floor here, so I didn't hurt it. All right, so now what do we have? We have pressurized. Now I'm going to give this a little try and see what happens. Now it might come out like crazy. I don't know. Let's see, guys. Ooh, came out as a miss. Glad I checked. Okay, there's a spray. Ooh, that's very cool. That's a big spray. Now I'm going to have to be really careful. I think if you there's a little deal inside of here, and if you take it out, there's a little thing, and if you take this out, it's supposed to just give you a stream. But you know what? I'm going to read on the internet before I go horsing with this. I don't want to break it. Okay, so I'll just adjust it, and I'll live with this. Real quick, little bursts, okay? I probably have too much pressure on there. What I'm going to do is let some of that pressure out. Now the air is going to come out the top, so it shouldn't let any of the solvent out, or not much of it anyway. I'll point it away from the camera just in case. Okay, and that's probably better. Yeah, much better. Now it's probably going to run dry faster because I let some pressure out, but that's okay. And it's getting cold. This is feeling cold out here, so that tells me it's evaporating pretty fast, and that's what I want. Now I just put enough deoxit in there to change the color of it a little bit. I don't know if that's going to help it or not, but we'll try it this way, and then later we'll mix them up and try it the other way. One of the things about this you want to remember, when you're done using it, let the pressure out, okay? Don't open it. Just let the pressure out of the Schrader valve, and then next time you use it, repressurize it. By the way, don't let dirt get in that thing. They give you this cap for a reason. Put the cap back on, okay, guys? Doesn't take that much effort. There. Now it's ready to use. I'm going to go ahead and use it. Let's go downstairs and let's give it a shot, okay? Okay guys, I'm going to show you this stuff being used at the end of part 5. That's the next part of this series. So I just wanted to give you a quick glimpse of how we make this stuff, and then you'll see me use it here shortly. I'm putting both videos up at the same time, so you'll be able to go right to it if you're interested. So I'll close this little short video down, and from your Western Outpost in Salt Lake City, this is Michael. That's all for now.